Good evening, viewers. Wish you a happy Sunday and hope you all are doing well. This is your host, Pulamanandi from Global Education and Training Institute, GETI. And as you all know, that this is the movement called hashtag Disruptive Education, whereby we invite speakers to contribute in this live webinar. I warmly welcome you all in this session whereby today we are having one very experienced speaker with us. Before I introduce the speaker, I would like to say that so many speakers have contributed in this movement of hashtag disruptive education and has added values in our life and enlighten us in various ways in terms of learning, in terms of information, in terms of developing different skills, and so on. Today, our speaker is also going to discuss a very critical topic. Let's see what is it. So today we are here with our speaker, Mr. Sumit Singh Arora. He has been a learning and career development partner more than 50,000 professionals over the last 25 years, where he worked with college students, corporate professionals, and managers to become more productive in their work and grow in their career. He is a keen educational enthusiast, and in the last 5 years, he has partnered with more than 3,000 parents and educators to facilitate holistic development of children and create a joyful and enriching learning ecosystem. He's a double graduate, one in engineering and one in education. He is a certified mentor from City and Guides UK, United Kingdom. He has founded an organization named The School Matters to assist educators and parents. Today, he's here to discuss about teaching students about money matters at the right age in the right way. So you can understand the topic is so very important and significant. So my dear viewers, stay tuned, have a learning and understanding of this topic, and I'm sure it's going to bring a transformation in our life with this learning. I, on behalf of Global Education and Training Institute, take the privilege to warmly welcome you, Sir Mr. Sumit Singh Arora. So you're most welcome to this hashtag disruptive education movement. And
Thank you.
I'm also very thrilled and looking forward to this very critical topic. I mean, especially when it comes to the Indian parents, this is a big inhibitions and apprehensions, which I'm sure after your session we will be enlightened and it will add values. So, my dear viewers, as you know, the topic is wealthy money habits and healthy relationship with money in school going children. Yes, in school going children. So, be attentive, learn from this session, and please do post questions in the comment section whereby Sir can get back to you with the answers. So stay tuned and welcome you all once again. And now it's over to you, Sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Paloma. That was a wonderful introduction, and special thanks to Miss Sunita Gandhi. I remember of meeting her at 10 years back in the Ed Leadership International meetings, which we conduct in Lucknow.
Yes.
And I was really amazed by the size of it, the very big auditorium, the thousands of students who come to the CMS school. And I had asked her then, how do you manage all this with so little money which you ask for participation? And she looked at me and said, why are you worried about the money? And I remember even today when that money topic comes up, is something which is very close to heart, right? From
Yes.
the kids' perspective till today, when you are father of a teenage going boy who is now asking for money, who wants to stand on his own feet, money has always played a critical part. And
True.
see, the times a decade later, I'm here on your show talking about the money habits and money things. So thank you,
Thank you so much. Thank
and
you.
I'll begin. So
Yes. So you would like to have a screen sharing now?
I'll do that.
Okay. You can share the screen. I will make it live.
Okay.
So good to go, sir. You can continue now. You can continue with your session, sir.
Okay.
It's been seen. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Palami. A week back, when I was talking to GETI about the program which has to be conducted, this wealthy money habits and healthy relationships, I was also thinking about what kind of questions we should put across. I do meet thousands of parents every month in parent teacher meetings and various webinars. And whenever the topic of money management for teaching to students comes up, the question is always a lot of them. They are not less. And then I thought, why not I pick up those top few questions and bring it as a part of this 35-40 minute of discussion. So the questions which come to the mind of to the mind of parents and educators, first question which always comes up is, why teach kids about money management? They're really worried. Is really teaching this money management will help, or they would become more aware and they would ask more money? So is it really important to teach them at this age? Then what is the right age of teaching money management? That's the second important question which comes up. Third question which comes up is, what all should we teach? Should I teach them about share market? Should I teach them about inflation? What are the concepts which you could teach? Because there are a lot of concepts in money. The fourth question which parents always have is, would students feel interested about this? Because as it is studying, they do not feel very enjoyable or they do not feel very happy about it. Would they be excited to learn all this? Would it be interesting? Or how can we make it interesting? Certain educators have a very specific question. They say, whatever we teach in mathematics or do some extracurricular activities where we do those bazaar or some other activities, isn't that sufficient? Do we really need to teach something else about money, whatever we teach in mathematics and beyond that? Question six, which I have selected here, is parents need to understand what level of teaching should we go for. Should be at basic level? Should it be at understanding level? Or can we also do some application level of learning? Now, this all comes to educators through whatever they have learned through Bloom's taxonomy and all. And these questions are important. The seventh important question, which teachers and parents say, is, can we have certain tools or techniques which we could use at home or in schools to learn with? So I picked up these seven questions for our basic first 30-35 minutes of discussion, and then it would be open for questions. Whatever questions you type in your chat, in your comments, and everything are most welcome. My partner would help me speak out those questions, and I could talk to you about them. So whenever I meet with parents, whenever I understand their questions, whenever I feel that they think there is a requirement, I always look at the parents and say, let me ask you, what did you really do about your money, the first money which you earned? So that's something which parents always look at and say, why are you putting that question to me? And the question is that what you do is what your children learn, what your students learn. It is not what you say to them. So, the first question which I put across, or mostly what parents really look at, is, what do you really do with the first money you got, you earned? Right? Remember those days when you got your first salary or your first income? And what did you do with that money? You could put in your answers in the chat. You could type one or two or three or four or five. Did you spend all the money on your needs, like your food or your travel or your clothes or something? Or did you spend some money or all most of your money on desires, like buying something or buying a gift or doing some party or paying off certain loan amount which you already had, or did you save that money? So what did you do with most of your money? I know you must have not spent all of your money on one of them, but most of your money went somewhere. So where did that go? Did it go in one, or did it go in two? Did it go in three? Did it go in four or five? Put in your comments in the chat and we'll talk about it more. Why I'm talking about this? These are the five elements what normally people would do when money comes in. Now, if you were trained professionally in school with some subjects of money, or you got some learning through the experience which parents shared with you would definitely be able to understand what I'm talking about, because it is all what you have learned in your previous experience, in your reflections, what you did with people talking, understanding, that you would take a decision over here. Now, whatever your answer is. If it was one, if it was two, it was three, four, or five, what do you think you would like your child to do with the money which he earns as the first salary, right? I know. We did a survey with a lot of people. We did formally 12,316 responses till now. And we did it with children between the age group of 6 to 18. We did it with college graduates and even with married couples. And we found wonderful stats about what they feel about money, or what do they do about money. And then we ran towards certain conclusions. And the first conclusion which came across was that 85% of the graduating students have incorrect aspirations and awareness. One of the very important indicators is when in interviews we ask them a question, what salary do you expect? And that question, even the well prepared student, the student who has distinction in his marks, is a bit set back because he is not ready with what answer should I give. He would give a standard answer. He may not know what is his cost of living, or what is the value he is adding to the organization, and what money should he ask for. We as parents spend a lot of effort, right? Getting them to the right school, getting them to the good coaching classes, buying wonderful curriculum and books like this of global education, and we try and get them into the best colleges so that they can make their wonderful career. And then they even get into wonderful jobs or start doing a wonderful business. But how about if all this goes waste because they did not have the right attitude towards money, because they did not have the right skills or the right awareness about money and the value of money? Would it be good? No, I know. The answer is a commonsensical no. So, this was the first result which we found out. And the reason behind this was because they did not have a formal education in their school life. The second was 70% of the newly working professionals lacked budgeting skills. And how did we come here? Because by the 20th of each month, these working professionals who got a fat salary working in ITs companies, manufacturing companies, were broke. That is, they did not have money for the last 10 days and were waiting for the next salary to come in. So they could not manage how much money should I spend where, right? And this is something which they have to really look at. They did not know how much money would I need for my future things. Working professionals should start planning for their future, right? You want your children, if they are at an age of 8, 9, 10, to start planning for their career. What should they do after 10? Should they go for medical, engineering, science, or should they take something else? I have seen people talking about, I want to be a doctor, and not knowing what amount of investment goes in it. What would be the amount of money required for it? And this is something, the first step, which we as parents and teachers need to inculcate in them. The third and the final result, where 55% of the working professionals were not aware what is the difference between saving and investing, and is insurance, putting money into an LIC, equal to investment? Would that money really help them in their future life when they are kind of old and they are not able to earn, and can they depend on that money? Would that be sufficient? And this is something, if not taught, even the top grad or even the top CEO would fail in planning his money. And I know all parents, all educators here, you all do not want this. You want your child to have healthy relationship with money and wealthy money management habits. I know the name of the topic, the name of the webinar incited you to be here, and you're here for that. And we are going to discuss all that. Even when we discuss with parents, the question which 99% of the parents had in mind was, when will my child start valuing money? राइट, मेरा बेटा पैसे की कीमत कब समझेगा? दैट वाज दैट मेन क्वेश्चन. और मेरी बेटी पैसे की कद्र करना कब समझेगी? एंड दैट इज दैट क्वेश्चन विच all of us have, that we really feel we understand the value of money and my child wants to. Nothing bad about it. But we are going to discuss about all of this here. Now, we can have this question answered only when we teach them. And that's very, very true. Children would learn about it only when they're either taught at home or at school or through such virtual workshops, right? At home, long back, there was a big family. You had uncles, you had dadas, you had grandfathers, you had mastis, mustards, everybody in the house. Many of them were doing business, some of them were doing a job, and that came very naturally to the child. And that is the way how it would have come to me or to you. But what about your kids? Now the family is so small, right? And the discussion is not very healthy. It is more about पैसा बचाना है, पता नहीं क्या होगा आगे, तुझे नहीं पता, पैसे पेड़ पे नहीं लगते हैं. Only these discussions have happened, and hence the relationship has become unhealthy with money about children. Schools have a lot to complete. In schools, it is not a mandatory part of the curriculum, and hence it doesn't happen. Workshops, you do not know which one is good, and there are so many of them. So let me take this one step ahead to clarify that if you were thinking of doing something, are there any guidelines which could really help you understand? So there are international and national opinions. Reserve Bank of India has come up with a paper called as National Strategy for Financial Education in India. It has recommended a curriculum which should be followed in schools. It has given the content available on the website which you could download, which you could go there and see what you could do as parents with your kids. There are books and everything available. Internationally, there's an organization called as OECD, which has created a white paper called as Financial Education in Schools, and it is recommending the same internationally too. Now, based on this kind of 200 to 500 page document, I tried to be at School Matters, tried to figure out what should be those basic topics which we should teach our children. I've categorized the children in two age groups. One is between 6 to 12. This is the first age group where we should talk about money, and then about 12 years. Below 6 years is a lot of storytelling and a lot of other stuff which you could definitely do. But if we look at this age group, there are certain pillars of money. If I may call this as a framework of money, I would be not exaggerating, but this is something which we need to know about it more. So the first pillar comes as earning. And what are the topics which come under earning is something which we're going to discuss next. The second topic is saving. The third pillar is investing. The fourth is spending. And the fifth is systems. So these are the five pillars on which our curriculum should be taught: earning, saving, investing, spending, and systems. Even at a home, if you are talking about with your kid, your discussion should start with earning, then logically it should go to saving, then maybe investing, then spending, and then systems of money. If you're interested to look into what more is there inside each of the topics, type in the chat topics and I'll open the topics for you one by one. Yeah, here comes the first set of topics. Whenever you want to talk about earning, the topics which are there would include sources of income like job or business or what other ways money can come in. This is something which we need to discuss as a child. The child also has certain earning opportunities. Tips and gifts have been there since long, right? Pocket money is another important aspect which we should have as a practice at our home to help our child. Salary details. What are the different ways of salary? What is part-time work? What is full-time work? How does money come in? Is important. How do sellers and service providers earn money? These are a few discussions which should happen at home, which should happen in school, in curriculum. Saving. Saving is personal piggy bank. Very common, but should be used effectively. If time permits, we'll discuss about this practice as well in detail. Then comes this family piggy bank, fixed deposit, recurring deposit, and the thumb rule of saving. How much percentage should go in needs, how much percentage should go in desires, and the rest of the stuff. Then is investing. Investing is another and critical important thing. The difference between mine and yours and what is ours. Kids at 6 and 7 years of age should understand the difference between my things and your things and our things, my qualities, your qualities, and the common things which are important, right? Hand loan, insurance, rent income is also a part of invested money which comes back to you. Now, spending is a very critical aspect, and this is what each of the parents here would like, that my child becomes wise in money. So, free and charge, needs and desires, buying what we desire or need, prices of things around us, discounts. These are the topics which need to come up in discussions. And when you look at the fifth most important, the systems, you need to look at the barter system. Kids do barter. They give cards and take back cards. They give things and take back things. This is the first place where they have to be wise enough. Then giving and receiving gifts, banking system. Then the rich, middle, and poor classes, another critical aspect which we should discuss where we are without even worrying what the child would feel. And many other systems which are a part of these five pillars. Let me talk about the teens. When you go to 13 to 18, the topics which you could include under earning would be the higher level topics than what we did when they were juniors. We look at income for our traders, income in the family from various different things. We could talk about entrepreneurship, business, very important. Risk and rewards both come in business. And this is something which some communities inculcate very wonderfully, and some communities do not talk about it. So we should do it as a part. Then, even earning as a part of rent or even as a part of expense and taxation is something which should come under the earning pillar. The next pillar is saving, again, fixed and recurring deposits, selling or buying used and unused things, recording and monitoring, and planning for future needs is another important essential. And this is the age when he has to decide or she has to decide about her career. And this is where she has to understand that, yes, this is something which I need to take care. I need to save for future. I cannot spend the entire amount now. Now are the important and big topics of investing which come in: share market, gold, property, mutual funds, SIP, and even copyright and patent. These are the topics which a child should start learning, should start seeing around, and should go even till application level. I'll talk about the levels in a few minutes as we go ahead. Spending now, it is need versus desires, not need and desires. Now it is the monthly family budget which all members should together and make. The fixed family expenses which are going to be there. The difference between branded and non-branded things. And what are family needs and desires which has to be considered. Systems also go at the higher level now: credit and debit cards, e-commerce and paying digitally, taking an invoice, what is inflation, and how does the money flow in the ecosystem, that is economics. So these are the systems which needs to be taken care as a part of the pillars of money for teens. Now, let me take this further to various levels of learning. Now, there are five levels of learning, very similar to what is the Bloom's taxonomy. The educators here would know that. For parents, it might be a bit different, but first level is general knowledge about what is a bank, what is the full form of RBI, what do you mean by Aadhaar, So these are basic things which they should be available to them. They should know, they should read in newspapers, or you should discuss with them as a part of quiz. Second level is understanding. What does it actually mean? What does saving mean? What does salary mean? What does income mean? So the meanings, do they understand that? The third thing which comes across is application. So application is something which is where they start using it in day-to-day life. So pocket money and spending from pocket money and noting it down and recording it in a notebook is the real application of two things. One is the spending part of it, and second is recording, which comes under the systems part of it. So these two things needs to be done as a part of application. Piggy bank is just not the only application which we can talk about. We can talk about a lot of surveys, questionnaires, going to people, or nowadays, if not going to people, talking to them over the phone and getting information, comparing, and doing the next level of learning, which is analysis and evaluation. Students and children nowadays are smart. They know how to compare. Yeah, we have taught them, I know. As parents, we compare children with children, and they compare things with things. So they know how to compare one mobile phone with another. How about helping them compare two different job roles? How about helping them compare two different offers or two different products and seeing what do they learn out of it? How do they evaluate? And finally, creating, that is the highest level, the synthesis level, where they create their own budgets, where they create their own things about money, because these five levels are going to actually help them internalize and form habits. Only general knowledge doesn't help them to form habits. Only conceptual understanding is theory. When they do the next three levels, the top three levels, that is application, analysis, and synthesis, that's the internalization happens. And that is something where we need to take our children across. Yeah. Now, let me take you 20 minutes into the discussion towards teaching about money at home. I know 28 minutes. Don't worry. I have the clock at my visible place. Yeah. So, ready to understand what it is required, I'm going to bring out certain tools for you, parents and educators. You could also use them in your classroom. So the wise management tools which I talk about today, I'm going to talk about five tools in the next 10 minutes, which are going to be crosswords, word search, need and desire analysis, daily spend diary, and price of things around us. Let me bring you to the first crossword. Now, when you talk about crosswords, crosswords could be looking something like this, right? So there is a set of clues there, as you can see in the bottom of your screen there, plus there are certain words which have to be filled. Now, how do you use crossword is very important. You could use crosswords very wonderfully for improving their conceptual understanding and even problem solving skills. And the process which you need to follow here is which is called as PDNS, right? You can see these here, and you could download it from the link in uh, the YouTube there or in the Facebook there, and you could use them. But let me tell you about the TDS process, which is most important. The TDS here stands for think, discuss, and share. What is think, discuss, and share? If you're doing this with your partner, what is the most important thing you need to do? Your partner means a child or a student, is both of you need to take one line, that is one cue, and pick it up and think individually, not discuss it away right away. So if I pick up one cue which is here, which says the place where they make points, so what comes to your mind? Which is the place where they make points? What is it called? And then you could start brainstorming, but do it individually. Write down whatever words come to your mind: money factory, money heist, and whatever things which come to your mind. Make a list of it. Once you make a list of it, then you go to the discuss stage where you discuss what words you thought, what words the child thought, and then you try and see which of them are common. And then you go and look into the crossword diagram. That is, if this is a place where we make points is 13 numbers, so 13 number is where I find the 13 number, it is a four-letter word. Now you do analysis or problem solving. That is, you did divergent thinking, now you do convergent thinking, and you try to fit that word. Is that word of four letters? So Heist, Heist. No, it is 5 letters. Factory, no, it is 5 letters. Then what could be the word? Mint. Oh, mint, mint is the right word. Awesome. So this is how you develop in discussion the problem solving skills. Then as you go on solving the next and the next and the next, more options come over here and it becomes difficult. And that is something which you have to really look at. And finally then comes is the sharing part of it, that you put it across and then you say, okay, this is the word which I got right. What about you? And then you celebrate success. And then you go to the next and the next and the next. So crossword is something which we have been using since ages, but to use it for conceptual clarity and to use it for problem solving skills, you need to use the process TDS: think, discuss, and share. Remember this. Should I move on to the next tool? Okay. So the next tool is word search. Even this you must have used for ages. When you're a small kid in kindergarten, you must have done that. Find a word, the word is given, and you start searching the word. Even if you're sitting on the screen, you would say, oh, I found money, I found piggy bank. That's not something which you have to do. Here in this word search, we again have cues there down at the bottom. So the first cue is an income not spent or deferred for later consumption. Now, what is that? Now, this cue starts thinking in the mind, and this is something which you have to do using the process which we call as TCF. So, think, check, and find. So, first thinking individual, like the last thing. Once you do the thinking, then you come back over here and look to the left of the queue. The left of the queue is the fill in the blank, and you check with the fill in the blank. So the fill in the blank has S dash 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 N and dash. What does that mean? Now S dash dash dash, and then the fifth letter is N, and then there is G. What it must be? And then of the words which you thought, you try and fit it in, and you say, oh wow, that's saving. And then you start searching, finding that word in saving. Now, once you have found the word in saving, the work is not done. You have to improve your English vocabulary as well. So now you ask your partner to use this word in a sentence, right? That application of the word. So you're doing two things: improving your conceptual understanding of saving and improving the English vocabulary too. How do you do that? You think of a word saving to be used in a sentence, your child makes one, you make one, and now you have two sentences of saving, right? So saving of money is good. A sentence, as simple as that, it also brings about a value. Make sense? So we have two tools out. Should I move on to the next three tools which we have promised here? Yes, here you go. The third tool is need and desire analysis. Yes. So here in this tool, the prerequisite is that the child and you understand the definition of need and desire. That's there on the screen what it says. What does this tool do? It helps the child make wise spending decisions. It helps the child to avoid impulsive buying. These are a few problems which parents have always talked about. And analysis skill improves as a byproduct. Let's see how. So what do we do here? We follow a certain process here. Yes, we follow a process called as CRD, which is categorize, then reason, and discuss. So first thing in this tool, you discuss what is the definition of need and what is the definition of desire. We talk about need as those things which we buy because of its usefulness, because there is a reason behind it. And desire are those things which make us feel happy or which really make us feel good. Our emotions is something which we buy because of desire. Now, what do we do here? You have three columns. You use the first column. There are 15 items there which you could write one after another. Pick those items from your room or from the house and make a list of them. And then your partner, your child, your student writes there, categorizes it. The first step he does, it's a need or it's a desire item. Simple. Sofa, need or desire. Chair, need or desire. Table lamp, need or desire. Table, need or desire. Mobile, need or desire. And then writes in the third column, why does he think so? Why do you think so? He puts down the reason. The reason here step is very, very important. This is not guessing. This is what I think and why I think, and hence I write over there. That is where your analysis skills is going to improve. right? So he picks up a thing and he says, oh, table lamp is desire. And then he says, oh, because it is required, it is useful for me to study. And then you don't think so. And if you don't think so, there's definitely going to be a debate. You are not going to let it happen. Or if he writes on a laptop or a mobile, if he says it's need, you're not going to accept it, are you? So if you're not going to accept it, please don't stop that little kid right away. Let him fill all 15 things. The item of discussion is the third step, where you and your child discuss. You might have different opinions with your child, but let me remind you not to force your opinion onto the child. You may have a healthy discussion. You may talk about your reasons why you think so. She or he may talk about her and his reasons why she thinks so, and you do not need to agree on one. You may have two different opinions, and it's perfectly okay. As a parent or an educator, don't make faces. Don't show eyes. That's bad. You would be teaching them bullying. Don't do that. You may have difference of opinions. You could repeat this exercise after a few days. Next time you may find lesser difference of opinions, and so on as you do it. You could do this exercise once a week, then you could do once a month, and you could do it then once a quarter and reduce it later on when you know that the child has done this. Now, how does it stop impulsive buying? You could improve this when you're going to buy something in this lockdown period. If you're there and watching this, you want to order something online, make a list of it. Don't go to the online directly. Make a list of this on this template. Then say, let's decide what is need, what is desire, and why do you think so. And then decide what should be going into the list of shopping and what should not be going into the shopping. Thought process started before buying. Impulse off. Will that be the right buying or not? I'm not guaranteeing that. But what I'm guaranteeing is impulsiveness would reduce. And this is something which you wanted for, isn't it? So that's the next step we should talk about, need desires tool. One more tool. Here you go. The daily spend diary. Recording of information, very important. And then what do you do with recording of information? You become wise. How do you become wise? By doing analysis. And this is something which happens in the daily spend diary, right? And what does the daily spend diary do? It follows a process called as record, discuss, calculate, and analyze. Take a list of items from a certain category, maybe grocery, maybe electronics items, maybe certain other things, and make a big list of it. You put those lists there, whatever you have recently bought, and then the amount spent. Put all the amount spent. Now do the division of categorization, which is need versus desire. Why do you do this? You do this because you want to monitor the expenses. Now, whatever you have bought week on week, you keep writing it there. So, whatever your items you have bought, you just keep on putting there as per the dates. So, once you fill this up for the entire month, do not fight in between, do not debate or discuss if it is a need or a desire. That is not to be done now. At the end of the month, you get into the analysis mode. To get into analysis, you have to calculate something. And how do you calculate? The calculation things are given in the tool. It says calculate the total amount of money spent in week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. This is how you calculate all that money and then do some analysis based on it. You also calculate the total amount of money spent on need versus spent on desire, and then you do some comparison on it. The questions of comparison are important. They are higher order thinking questions. Educators would understand this better. Yeah. These questions are not what you are, the data is there. These questions are why and what else questions. So why is this happening? Or what are your views about it? What do you infer from it? These are the questions which come up. So if there is higher spending in week 1 and lesser in week 2, week 3, and least in week 4, and it is the spending is coming down like a pyramid, the question comes is why? And then the discussion happens between you and your child. Don't force your answers onto the child. Let him, her talk about it. And that's important. And this is something which really makes them wise about how and when the money is being spent and how much should it be really spent. Tool number 4, this is, should I go to the last tool? I have 5 more minutes, and this is the last tool which comes in. Price of things around us, right? It really helps them to understand the value of money. right? And it also touches upon the concept of inflation. For those economists who really love this is a tool which you could use to teach children inflation without those big definitions. Yeah, the tool here is EFRA, which stands for estimate, find, record, and then analyze. Now, what is estimation here? In the last tool, we wrote the exact amount. This tool, we are not going to write the exact amount. We are going to pick up 10 items from any category, and then we are going to estimate what might be the price of those things today. So first we just write an estimate. We do not write the actual price. And then we find that actual price. Call a shop, go on the internet, find how much was the difference between your guess and the actual price. And then you write it down in the column which says the write today's date here. So you write today's date here and then you write down the amount which you found out from calling or from the internet. Then there are two columns on the left and two columns on the right of this. The two columns on the left is for history, and then you start guessing with your partner what could have been the price of the same item a week back, or maybe a month back, or maybe a year back, or maybe 10, 20, 40 years back. Yeah, you could go down till 60 years. You could have your grandparents, the child's grandparents there to ask what was the price then. I remember of having a lunch outside full thali at rupees 7 when I was in my 10th standard. My dad had taken me somewhere. What is the price of a thali today? Today you don't go out and lockdown, but you know the price, right? 500 rupees, 1000 rupees. So the difference, 100 times. In how many years? 30, 40 years. So what is that difference? What will be that difference in future? And this is something which they would estimate and write for future, and maybe they would really go and correct it in the future and see this tool there. This is how they understand the value of money. And the questions which are here for analysis are, if there is a change or fluctuation in the money, does it come down? Does it increase? Is it a fluctuation or is it steady over the years? Is something which is very important for discussion, which has to be brought up. Price of petrol and diesel, price of gold, price of a TV. These are all things which you could discuss using this tool, right? With this, I bring to end the 5 tools which I wanted to talk. Let me take you to one more small thing which I discussed as the starting of the day, right? The heading of the webinar. So the heading of the webinar is Wealthy Money Habits and Healthy Relationship with Money. Let me bring to you what our team here at School Matters thinks about what should be those wealthy money habits, the mantras of wealthy money habits which I should remember, and then I'll close the webinar. This is that important thing which we should consider. The 3 wealthy money habits. First habit, save first, then spend. This habit can be inculcated from the pocket money too. So he gets a pocket money of 200 rupees or 500 or 1000, you decide. The child saves some money in the piggy bank and then he decides how much I want to spend where. So save first for certain future needs or risk or something and then go about it. Second, balance your spend on needs and desires. Very important. The money which the child has now set aside, how much does he want to spend on needs and how much does he want to spend on desires? He has to budget it right and then categorize it and say, okay, this month is my birthday, mom. I'm going to spend 90% of the money on my desires. Please don't stop me. That is what is balanced. That is not what is equal to, right? And certain month he would say 90% I'm spending on my needs. I'm buying stationery. I'm buying this stuff. I'm not spending on chocolates. So that's on needs. And this is something which he starts doing it at the age of 6 and continues doing till the age of 16 till where he's in your control. And that's how you develop a habit of balance your spend and needs and desires. Third, invest and insure for your future expenses and risks. So he has a further party to happen or he wants to have something. How can he invest some money for his future needs? Right? You, as a mom or a dad, could become the banker. You could say, you, whatever money you're putting in the piggy bank, you can deposit it with me and I'll give you some interest on top of it. Or you could open a child's bank account. A lot of banks open it now. She can invest, put money from the piggy bank into the real bank, and he can see interest coming up. And that's where he learns the first step of money making money. And this is something which he could look at. Healthy relationships with money. Parents have tortured children many a time because they really did not have the sufficient money to make ends meet. And this is somewhere where we have always said, "Tujhe kya pata paisa kamana kitna mushkil hai." But that only dialogue doesn't help. You have to teach a child that earning money is better than making money. He should understand that you as a parent earn money, not just make money. Making money is very easy. Robbing, stealing, begging, these are all ways of making money. But it is not about earning money. And that is the difference. Why? You make what you make based on your skills, based on the opportunities that you have, and you do not cheat. You do not do anything else which people might be doing to make a lot of money. And that is a value inculcation. That is a relationship which we have to inculcate in our children. Second important mantra of healthy relationship is that money is not more important than relationships. Yeah. Many a times कट्टी between friends happen because तूने मेरा 10 रुपया वापस नहीं किया और अब 100 रुपया वापस नहीं किया, right? But relationship should be nurtured more than money is something which is important. You may disagree with this, but the days are changing where money is being treated more than relationship. You use relationships to make money. Is that right? Or should you use money to build relationships? Choice is yours. The third mantra of a healthy relationship is that money is one of the things you get in return for your service or your products or your skills. Now, this is that one important element which has to be taught to a child because child or children nowadays feel that everything should be money. And in fact, we as parents have done something wrong in that. If you do your daily course, I'll pay you money. If you do something good, I'll pay you money. I'll give you a tip. Now, this is something which has inculcated that whatever I do, I need money for that. Otherwise, why should I do? So, money is just one part of it. There is something else which happens, which we do when we build goodwill in the market through our service and products. And this is something which we have to teach our children. So, these are the mantras of the day for the topic which have been here. The tools which we have discussed earlier are the tools which can help you achieve these mantras for your child. I'm open to questions. Any questions which you have, please.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sir, can we stop the screen sharing, sir? If you can
I'll
stop the
do
screen
that.
sharing.
I'll do
Yeah, yeah. It's okay. Done, sir. Yeah. Thank
that.
you,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
It was such an amazing session, I must say. You know,
Thank
with
you.
in-depth of information, knowledge, and insightfulness about this very critical topic. And I think you have covered up fairly everything in this span of time, whereby you discussed about the importance why we have to do from which age group, as you said, from six and above, right? And
Yes,
also
ma'am.
wonderfully explained the different tools. Uh, like we do in Bloom's taxonomy, I could see the same way it has come to you in your way of, how you can go to the high order thinking skills, even with money. It was really wonderful, sir. But I would request my viewers to post questions. I'm not seeing any question posted. I think they were totally involved in the session so much so. So we still have some time. Yeah, I would request you. I'm sure you must be having something to ask, and since sir is here live, he will surely answer it. And later on, also you can watch the recorded session of this, and then you can post your questions. But it's better since sir is here, we can have a live discussion. So I'm just waiting for some of you to come up with some questions. And sir, in the time we get some questions, meanwhile, I would ask you something if you are okay with it. Because,
Surely.
as you said, we do have environmental education studies, life skills, and all. But this skill of money, the topic that is the wealthy money habits, as you said, that there are schools which are coming with financial education, I mean, the curriculum. So, how you think that in our country, in India, it's going to, as you said, it's very important to be in the curriculum as part of the curriculum. So,
True.
what is your view on this? That in from which grade we should start and where we should inculcate this? In which part should it come? Should it come as a separate topic, or it should come as integrated learning with a subject that we all already have? So, if you can just give little insight to this point as well.
Surely. So the right age to bring it on curriculum in schools would be third standard, that is somewhere around 9 years, 8, 9 years of age, and
Okay.
could continue up till eighth standard. So ninth and tenth, parents and students are nowadays focused on marks, board exams. So third to eighth is a very right
Mhm.
age appropriate where primary three sections and secondary three sections it could be taught. So six levels is something which you would have. This should be a part of life skills, whether it comes from the
Okay.
board or it doesn't come from the board. Because in life
Mhm.
skills, a lot of things we would like to teach children. We would like to teach them value education. We would like to teach them behavior. We would like to teach them thinking skills. We would like to teach them a lot of other things as well. So why not some
Mhm.
part of money management? So if you have life skills which is put there across as one session a week, something like this, you could inculcate this
Mhm.
into one session a month, and you could have around 10 sessions in a year, and that is something which could be very useful, which they could use. In fact, we have certain schools which have started using it. They are now doing online sessions as well, apart from
Okay.
the regular curriculum, and parents find it very wonderful. They have given
Yeah.
feedback saying children have become wise. They have stopped asking me money, and that is
Yeah,
something which
that's
is
great. Mhm. Yeah, that's great idea. As you said, in the foundation level, we have to inculcate this habit so that later on it becomes easier. And it should be a part of life skill because this is also a very important part of life skill. So thank you for that. And let's see that how in future we can inculcate that in our curriculum or in our system, school system.
surely,
And
surely,
rightly said, yeah. So as you said about desires and needs, analysis. And
yeah,
you even said this that we should not impose as a parent. Probably our thing is a desire, but when you see the teenager, for them it probably is a need. As you said, that don't impose your thoughts. But I think this margin of of desires and needs is changes from person to person with their perspective. Say for example, if I'm a parent and I feel having a smartphone is need, it's a need. But if the child of a teenage compares with the peers and he wants a smartphone with a good specification and configuration whereby he feels special in his peers, and these things happens as a peers pressure is there, and he probably will find it not a desire but it's a needs. So
true,
in such cases, what how should a parent react, or should a parent accept what the child says, because they may show tantrums, things like that, and which happens also. So
true,
if such situation comes, then what should be a parent's role at that time to balance it or have some happy solution?
true. So there are two things which could really help here for parents.
Mhm.
One is the need and desire analysis, which has to be done. So you take a set of items and you say which are need and which are desire and why. And there's a healthy
Mhm.
discussion which happens. Keep the phone apart for a while. We'll do a proactive thing. We'll not talk about postmortem of the problem. We'll talk about as a preventive thing. If you
Yes,
have done
yes.
this from the age of 8, by the time he comes to the teenage, he knows the
Mhm.
discussion of need and desires. And every time when you make a shopping list, if you have done this discussion, the desire items you have always kept aside and you said we'll focus on need items first. This discussion of which thing goes in need and which thing goes in desire is solved, already solved. Now, if this has not happened, you have a child who is now in teen, who is in peer pressure of buying a phone because others have one and mom, you should get me one. Now, that's a discussion which is happening. The discussion of whether the other person has it and so I should have it, is it a need or is it your desire? Will it make it feel happy or will it be useful for you in some way? Let's discuss it out. Let's write it down, how it would happen. And then it would come up somewhere that would make me feel happy. Then say, okay, making you feel happy is a desire. And yes, you should feel happy, not that you shouldn't feel happy. Now, what about, are there any needs which we have to fulfill before that? Is there some money which we need to save or invest before that? Is that done? If that is done, and if I have money, I can definitely spend on my desires. So here comes that thumb rule of um, earning minus saving. The remaining amount has to be spent between needs and desires. If needs are fulfilled, then I go for desires. So that discussion of budgeting has to happen today. And I have to be very clear about discussing what my income is, what
Mhm.
my monthly budgeting of salary of expenses is. So this goes in needs, what I have to save and invest for your future, for your college education, etc. Now, this is the money left. Can I really spend on your iPhone or should I spend on other desires which we all have, like going out or having food out from outside or doing some small parties? Can I really spend on which desire? So, this big of a discussion can happen with parents and children. And then there is no bullying and the child becomes wise whether he buys a phone or not. This is something which is important.
Thank you so much for wonderfully explaining. And I think, as you said, it should come as a system, a growth, like you said, that the thumb rules, it should go um, in a proper order to make that as a system so that we can proactively arrest it when they go to that age. That's wonderful. Sir, questions have come. Fortunately, I could see two questions. One is from Seema Lalwani, and she's asking, how can we teach our child how to save money?
Wow. So, as a parent, if you're looking at saving money, the first thing which you should do is you should demonstrate that you are saving money as a
Okay.
parent. So you should have a family piggy bank in your house. And the first thing which you do is when you come back home or when you come back from the market, if there is something of a coins which you have, you say, oh, I had a budget of around 200 rupees which I took for spending on vegetables. And today I have saved these 5-10 rupees. I thought I should buy this, but then I thought, no, today the price is not right. I'll buy it tomorrow. And then I got the price right today, and hence I saved 5 rupees and I'm putting it in the piggy bank. Or I wanted to use my bike to go out to the nearest shop, and I would have spent 2 to 3 rupees of petrol, but I did not use my bike. I went walking and I came back walking. I saved 4 rupees, and here I put those 4 rupees in the piggy bank. What are you really demonstrating? You're demonstrating that you're lowering your expenses, you're being cautious about what you're spending and putting that money in the bank, in the piggy bank. And when the child sees this, when he sees the saving being celebrated and the amount at the end of the month being used for the entire family or for something else, he starts inculcating that habit of saving. Now it starts with you first, Seema, and that is how you
Exactly.
could do that.
Exactly. Thank you so much, sir. So, one more question has come up from Natasha Daveser. The question is there an indicative model which can be followed to help children balance the spend on needs, desires, and saving? Maybe like so.
Yeah,
The question
there are
is on the
multiple.
screen.
Yes, there are multiple models of balancing the need and the desires and saving. One of them is the 50-30-20 model. So 50% of the money you spend on your basic needs, the 30% you spend on saving, and 20% you spend on desires. Now, many of the models are being used for ages. Now, the models are changing nowadays. Nowadays, a better model would be something where I decide how much amount I need to spend on needs and desires together, and I remember how much should I spend onto savings and how much should I have in my saving account as well. Seeing the current
Mhm.
pandemic, not earning for the next last 3 to 4 months, you would always think that I should have had in my saving account enough money so that I can live for 6 months without earning even 1 rupee. So do I have that much amount in my saving account? And if I have more money that is in my saving account, that's waste of money. That more money should be in my investment account and not in my saving account. So once I have had 6 months or maybe 1 year, whatever security you want to have of money in my bank account in saving, the rest of the money should go to my investment. And then I should stop saving and I should stop investing more. And this is something which is a thumb rule which we should use. Thank you, Natasha. Thank
Thank
you
you
for that
so
question.
much. Thank you so much, sir. And I feel now with this pandemic, the situation, I think the awareness has already knocked to each and every member. And I could even see people, they're really, they're losing on jobs. It's a huge layoff in many sectors. And I think here only the wise way of investing monies or savings money or whatever they have done at their way to have to save in their crisis time. I think this is an eye opener, this phase of pandemic. And this topic, today's topic, has really made a lot of change, and they in their thoughts, and to how to further take care of it in a better way,
Sure.
despite of the fact that the relationships are much more important. But as we know, money is also very important, because when it comes to basic needs, actually, not even desires. So yes, so we have to keep a balance, and we have to value and spend it in a wise way. Thank you so much, sir. It was a wonderful, amazing session, and we all have surely learned a lot from this with all your guidelines and the tools that you have shared, and I'm sure it has helped all the viewers. Thank you, viewers, for posting questions. And you can further post questions even in the recorded session of this, and sir will get back to you with the answers. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So, wish you
Namaskar.
all a very healthy and safe stay back home, and take care of all of you. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.